Admit it, y'all missed my beautiful voice.
What's up, every guy? Every guy, man. My brain's not kicking out of vacation mode, dudes. Oh, what's up? I missed everybody. Dude, I, of course, on vacation ate like shit. And I'm paying for it yesterday and today. And so, I'm getting back on it, though. I corrected mistakes of the week by eating 2 giant steaks, and it's starting to help. Dude, Chris, I was just reading your post about your boot process and figuring that out. Dude, that's a great learning example, man. I'm glad you shared that. That's fucking awesome. By the way, Shadow drew first blood tonight. Shadow, my brother, how you doing, dude? Let's see. Dude, the mosquitoes were freaking insane. They were... Y'all seen that clip from One Punch Man where he fights the mosquito monster? And, like, the mosquito... She, like, swarms... Or, like, controls swarms of mosquitoes, and they come in and they just desiccate people. It wasn't very far off that. I had new appreciation for Saitama after that, even though I already thought he was a boss and just a cool character. It was so bad. Hang on. Hang on. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I can't type. One Punch Man, Mosquito Girl. There we go. Hang on one sec.
早急に終わらせた方が良さそうだ。
待てこらー！俺との決着がまだついてねえぞ！
なんだあいつは。
口入ったピッピッ
この野郎。あ？なんかうごめいて。え？か？しまった。一人巻き添えに。いやー、助かったよ。すごいなお前。今の何？これが本当の蚊取り線香。なんつってな。
Mosquito Cloud.
あ、いや、線香と線香をかけてるんだけど。完全に油断した。
And then the tasteful, like, just guarding of the junk cracks me up. But yeah, that's exactly how it was the whole time. And they have a different kind of mosquito down on the Texas Gulf Coast than we've got here at home. The ones we've got here, they're all like level 20 rogues. They get in, they get out, and you don't even know anything happened until 5 minutes later and you get an itchy welt. These ones, they were barbarian mosquitoes. They come in and just be like, ugh, ugh. They just hit you and you're like, ow, ow, motherfucker. It was nuts. So, yeah, I've been looking forward to coming back. I know some folks were asking. I tried to let y'all know, hey, I was going to be gone for vacation, but I didn't have a great way to do it otherwise than just po it up on Discord. But I'm super happy to see everybody back. I really debated streaming last night, but I knew it was going to be a bad idea because I was exhausted. Kids were exhausted. The kids got used to me, like, cuddling them to bed. Like, they got kind of addicted to affection, which, you know, go figure. But it was just probably not going to be a good night. I knew I was going to be gambling heavily against myself with failure. So, but yes, I'm super excited to actually be back. So I actually took a book with me because I've not gotten to... What happened to all my cables here? Good God. Hang on. My cables are in complete disarray. What the hell is going on here? Oh God. That's the panda cam. No! Panda was so excited to see me too when I finally went to go pick her up. She stayed with my in-laws. And they babied her and treated her like a little puppy princess that she is. But she's actually in a better mood. I think she realized I can get rid of her. And so now she's like in really good behavior and it's like very affectionate. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I did have to learn how to read. Actually, I really enjoy reading. I just don't hardly ever get any time to. And I knocked out this nice book on demonic possession and exorcisms written by a psychiatrist. So, party time. But I finished that book. And then I'm like, well, crap, what am I going to read now? Well, I had James Forshaw's book in my backpack. And so this was like Thursday night I finished it. And yeah, Chris, so he wrote this because he's a very well-known psychiatrist. His name is Richard Gallagher. And he actually was consulting on cases of demonic possession for 25 years. He still does it to this day, as far as I know. The book was written about 5 years ago. And because part of the discernment process that a lot of, at least for Catholic priests do, and a lot of other clergy do as well, is they go take them to a reputable psychiatrist to assess, is there some kind of psychological or physical ailment that could be causing these kind of things. And he talks about that too. It's like, hey, here's our cases where like these people were completely convinced they were possessed, and we get there and we realize, yeah, they're not. And he lays out like, this is what was going on, and basically just probing them and understanding their background help him discern that out. But there's other cases where, yeah, this is weird and we can't explain it. And so he goes into detailing those. So it's a really fascinating book. It's almost more like something to get a little bit like something to be published in a journal versus like a book. Although it was obviously in book form and it's written for that. It had that very heavy tinge to it. So yeah, really cool book. But I finished that book Thursday night. And I'm like, well, crap. I really want to read something. I don't know what else I've got. And then, so I said, I had James Forshaw's book with me. I had my work laptop with me because it travels nicely and the battery lasts forever and I didn't want to have to charge it much. And so I dove into this sucker Thursday night and I hit this thing like I was voracious for knowledge. It was kind of funny because I'm like, oh yeah, fucking Windows kernel. Yeah, what's the Windows kernel do? How's the access manager work? Urgh. And so it does not have labs that I have come across yet, but as you can see here, what I've done is I actually started taking some notes on it. What I'm thinking about doing is working on this on the stream whenever like we're at these long pause periods in the lab. Let the lab kind of do its thing and pop into the PowerShell internals, or maybe just work on this a bit because it's going to help us with some of the lab stuff. And maybe I'll just get the lab to a running state off stream. Okay. But this is just such a super interesting topic to me. I've been trying to learn more about the Windows internal APIs and structures for a long time. And then this vacation time where I had nothing else to read and I got to bust into it really helped. Yeah, a lot of these guys do. And so this one is no starch, but he did the whole thing with PowerShell. So, and in fact, I'll show you the notes I've taken on it so far. So first thing he goes over is, hey, here's how we're going to set up a PowerShell environment. He just starts with a very basic Windows VM, adjust the execution policy so that way you can download stuff from the PowerShell gallery. Sits there, installs the module. So this is like a custom module I think he wrote for the book with some like helper functions to get through it, and then imports the module into it, and then just does a quick test of it. This is a function here that shouldn't really do anything. All right. Hey, you guys aren't seeing a blinking on the screen, are you? Like, I'm seeing something that pops up real fast, and I don't know if it's on my computer or if it's on OBS. No blinking? All right, cool. Well, yeah, because eventually, Chris, we want to do some C2 development. There's some things I want to do, like writing some... I'd like to go through and write a custom agent for Mythic, because there currently is no DNS agent for Mythic. So, all right, cool. No blinking. Perfect. Yeah, so currently there's no DNS agent for Mythic, so that was something else I wanted to develop. And I know that's actually going to take part of a couple different things. But as I'm developing the agent, I don't want to just develop the channel, right? There's going to be some work that has to be done in Mythic itself There's going to have to work be done on the agent side. We're going to have to decide on a language. The language will probably be C# initially. I'm not sure. I'm thinking on it. I got a guy I'm talking to about it to get some advice. Go, bro, my brother. I actually caught a couple of your streams for just like a few minutes while I was on vacation. I did actually have good internet while I was there, but the house is so paper thin. There would have been no way I could have streamed there. Does it matter what language you use? Well, yeah, because if you use C#, for example, your agent's only going to run on Windows. And so if you use something like C, it's going to be a lot more difficult to maintain, but it will run on just about anything. Or if you use Go, that could be something else for it as well. So I haven't quite figured it out. Like if we go over to Mythic Agents, for example, here. So there is a actual breakdown. Is it in here? It should be in here. Why is this SVG not loading? Not found. No. Terabad. So there was, a hero, agent compatibilities matrix. Oh, so they must have just moved it. But yeah, so if you look here, it tells you which operating systems it runs on, right? So for example, Merlin, this one right here was, what was Merlin written in? Hang on. Let's go look real quick. Apollo is kind of like the most popular one because a lot of times this is going to be used on Windows systems. Let's see. Merlin might be kind of... Actually, it was updated on the 24th, so it's still getting updates to it. Let's see, what is it written in? Payload type Merlin. Agent. So Merlin's written in Go. That's why it runs on everything. You can make it run for whatever system you're going to compile it against. So there's a strong case to maybe do it in Go. But you see how like there's different ones like AppFell, Apollo. Apollo's written in C#. That's why it only works on Windows. So you've got some options here on like how you want to kind of work with it. But you see how like supported C2 profiles, there's nothing for Discord. There's TCP. Poseidon TCP things, but there's no DNS right here. So I would really like to have one that shows up here and is all it supports is DNS. That's the only thing I wanted to do. So we can have, if we do it in C#, we're going to have to deal with that it's only going to be on Windows. If we do it in Go, we have to learn Go. So. You probably could write it in C++, Caffeine. Let's see what his examples are, just out of curiosity. Back to Mythic Agents. So here's a couple of examples I think that he's got. Mythic meta organization contains repositories related to various meta components of Mythic. This includes things like code for Docker images, code for the Mythic container, PyPy, and Golang packages. So we could potentially write this in Go because he's already got something set up here for it. And by someone, I mean it's a feature. He's the guy who maintains like 99% of Mythic. This guy right here. Go's easy. Maybe Go was just so difficult for me, GoPro, because I was moving from a typeless language, namely JavaScript, which was the thing I had worked on the most, to something that was like Go, which is not only strongly typed, it's ridiculously strongly typed. How'd you learn that C# is exclusive to Windows and Go's cross-platform compatible? Just experience, man. So when we wrote the Deimos C2, it was written in Go. The front end, the reason why I had so much experience with JavaScript was written as a progressive web app, and I wrote that. And so that's why I knew so much about it. But we wrote it in Go specifically because, one, Go was kind of the hotness about 5 years ago when we wrote it. And then also, that way we could cross-compile agents and the server. So if we wanted to have it go cross-compile for Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever. I'd want something that's systems programming friendly, like Rust, C#, Go, etc. Yeah. Maybe we'll do it in Nim. There we go. Just really throw a monkey in the... throw a bunch of monkeys in the monkey in the wrench. Do it in Nim. Or, Zig. There you go. I remember you said Nim, and actually I haven't looked into Nim. I need to. I remember there was a funny quote. I think the creator of Nim said, "Please don't use this to write malware," and totally everyone's using it to write malware. That's like in any MMO where they're like, "Please don't grief me," and they're like, "Oh, dude, now I'm required by the Geneva Convention to grief you." Nim. Nim's compiler is flagged by antiviruses, but not the example malware written in Nim. So, yeah, it's kind of funny about the guy's quote about that. So, it's funny because like I think Nim is going to be in a hard place because there's going to be like it's not very widely adopted, right? It's harder to blend in with them, but also at the same time easier for evasion. So yeah, that one actually just showed up on the search, Caffeine. And so dude, what's funny is I saw a picture of John Hammond, and he was on CNN, and I thought about roasting him a little bit over that because actually that's a big deal, right? That he is getting asked onto CNN, right? So it's kind of bumping his notoriety a little bit up there with like Dave Kennedy, because Dave Kennedy from Trusted Sec is usually the one you see doing a lot of the news circuit, or at least that I see. But I was gonna heckle him a bit, but like, yo, you couldn't get onto a real news channel. You had to go on this cut rate CNN, huh? But I decided against it. I was like, I was on vacation, and this was when all the Thunder CrowdStrike stuff happened. Yeah, exactly, Caffeine. Hey, Stereo, what's up, man? So, but yeah, it's lots of fun there. So I'm going to, let me blow this up a bit here. So yeah, so what I'm thinking about doing is, and maybe because I'm like kind of on a kick from it, like I said, when I dove into this book on vacation, all of a sudden, like my brain went into like 6th gear, and it's only got 5. And I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, let's do this. Big stuff. Yeah, install PowerShell. I was like eating it up. So I guess my vacation was recharging, not really so much restful because I'd stay up till like 2 in the morning reading. That's why I finished that book so fast. But hey, Oreo, welcome, dude. So I think tonight we'll probably kind of mess with this a bit, but to do that, I got to figure out how I want to do this. Because I'm not running this stuff on my local machine here. Dude, I really like the idea of reversing Caffeine, but I really am working hard to keep my shiny thing syndrome in check. So I've decided that I'm not going to go full blast into reverse engineering, but if I need to do something via reverse engineering, then I'll basically just go dive into it and learn enough to get it done, and then I'll work on it. But I actually really do like the idea of reverse engineering and taking things apart and tinkering with them. That's one of the reasons why I like working on the ATVs so much, even though I haven't got to do that in like 2 months, is because I don't understand how they work in practice. I get the theory. The theory behind a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke and carburetors is not that crazy, but the going from the theory to the execution is a big gulf, right? It's a huge jump. Let's see what GoPro sent. Just don't write malware in NIM, please. Oh, that's funny. It's not malware, man. I use it for work. Gosh, that's funny. Let me see if I can do something real quick here. Let's see. Bring this up. Let's go. Let's go pull up our Proxmox server. So I did just boot up the server. Here's hope. It looked like it booted up properly. Hey, now we're talking. All right, so our range is down. The server was literally off until I started the stream. Then I remembered it was off, so I just turned it back in. How would I rate? What would you rate Windows Defender on 1 out of 10? Dude, I'm not even sure, man. Windows Defender, for the most part, for most people, is really all you need. Like, for your very typical end user. If you've got all the systems turned on and configured, you're going to be probably in pretty good shape. You don't really need a whole lot beyond that. I'd say if I had to rank them, if I had to choose the top 3, I'd probably say number 1 probably is CrowdStrike, which is why the outage was such a bad black eye for them. For 2 reasons. 1, I think it happened on a Friday. And Friday is for read only. You do not commit changes on a Friday. If you value your weekend, you do not commit changes on a Friday. But I'd say probably number 1 is CrowdStrike, and number 2, probably followed closely by that, is Sentinel-1. And then number 3 would be Defender, because those ones kind of covered the larger marketplace. They're looking at stuff. The CrowdStrike is actually really well run, despite its rather infrequent but high-profile black eyes over the last couple years. I mean, McAfee, I think, did the exact same thing. It just wasn't as widespread because it wasn't as widespread as CrowdStrike. Because, you know, there wasn't a mass exodus of Kaspersky and then people switching to CrowdStrike when this happened. So the timing on that's a little suspicious. Kind of interesting. Windows is a great operating system for hacking the world. It depends on what you're doing with it. I mean, really, you technically can do pretty much anything you want to on Windows that you can do on Linux. It's just it might be a lot easier on Linux. So, and if you're working in a C2, then it's a lot less of an issue. I actually haven't looked into that Genesis. Would I trust Defender to identify rootkits? So that was something else I would like to really dig into. Rootkits are becoming more difficult to do since the advent of UEFI, but there's guys that have been researching and finding workarounds to UEFI. So if I had to guess, shoot, I don't even know how to make an educated guess on that one. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, just because, but like, for example, my work computer's a Mac because I got tired of changing laptops every 3 years. Where I've been at my company, I have changed laptops 3 times because I came in near the end of when I first went there, it was kind of like this weird BYOD setup. So I bought this really badass laptop, which is still over here beside me, and learned a hard lesson that you do not get a 4K screen on a laptop. Don't do it. There's no UI that scales properly for that dense of a pixel, for that pixel density for that small screen. It sucks. But other than that, the laptop is great. And then after that, they went, okay, now we're going to go to uniform laptops. And I've been through 2 of those. So I've been through 3 different work laptops. and I got really tired of changing. So when we get ready for this last refresh, I'm like, hey, I would like to get a Mac for one of my guys to start testing to see what he thinks. So I gave it to my guy that has notorious laptop issues. I don't know what it is. He's got a miasma about him where his laptops hate him and they die and break in weird ways. So I gave the Mac to him and he loved it and it's been working great. So we finally got the buy-in to say, okay, if you want a Windows laptop, you can. If you want a Mac laptop, you can. I chose the Mac and they ordered it with the wrong amount of RAM. It was supposed to have 64 gigs of RAM and they ordered it with 32 on accident. And I was like, oh, well. So I really do like my MacBook a lot. It's going to be a long time before I justify buying one personally, though, because the top of the line one is like $7,200, I think. It's nuts. No Starch has a book on rootkits. Yeah, I may have.
Hack the planet!
The planet. I don't know. I may actually have that one. A lot of my computer books are stowed away somewhere. I have run out of book space on the shelf. Shut up, baby. I know it. And so, like, for example, I still have a MacBook from 2012 that's an old Intel i5 Mac. And back when you could still change out the components. And so it's got 2 SSDs and 16 gigs of RAM in it. And it still runs really well. It's got bare metal Kali installed on it. And I keep it in my closet as a work laptop, like as a triage laptop when shit breaks in my house. I just noticed something here. Let me do something real quick. This movie's on a different system? I just noticed our 999 machine is not in here. And it might be because of how we're logged in here. So we had spun ourselves up. Oh, maybe it's this one right here. 115. Yeah, because these would all be listed as Goat if they were in there, I thought. Oh, let me go pop into the command line quick. Because what I was thinking here... Where's my navigation? Oh. Why's my navigation bar keep going away? There we go. Let me get actually into the Ludus console here. I gotta remember all my Ludus commands. Okay, so now we've got... These are all part of the range. We had... Did I delete it? Maybe I deleted it and I was going to remake it. But we had a Kali VM in here that was like standalone. It wasn't part of anything else. What's the breakdown on breaking in? You mean breaking into the industry or breaking into a specific system? The main thing, Oni, that I like about the Mac is I can multitask because I constantly just leave stuff open. That thing multitasks like a champ. And it's stupid fast. Yeah, and caffeine, so having an 8-year-old laptop, it's not such a big deal anymore. The hardware is still plenty good. So if I was to buy a new MacBook, it would probably be the top of the line one, and I'm not going to probably go spend $7,200 on that. That's a lot of money. I have some way better toys in the house that I have spent less money on. So, like for example, I need to go get a new Raspberry Pi 5 because I think the Raspberry Pi that I've got running the DNS server finally shat itself, and I had to bypass it and turn off my my Pi hole. Too much dumpy. Never enough dumpy. But I get what you were saying. Yeah, that is way too much money. Let's see here. Okay, so for some reason our Kali machine is down. Let's go look at something actually. So, because I was going to ask to do this anyway, but let's see, maybe here in Ludus we'll start messing with setting up the attacker infrastructure, right? So what we could do is we could go create a new user, we could put them in Ludus, and then that new user could have its own range, and we can impersonate them from our command line terminal. So I think let's do that. Let's pop over into Ludus. Let's see. So for example, if we look at this, we only have one user right now who's an admin, and that's all we need, but we can go create a new user here that doesn't have administrator permissions, but because the Blaze user is an admin, can impersonate those others. So let's do add, so we need to do attack in, we'll call it we call that attack. That's what we're going to call it. We're just going to call it attack. And then the ID is going to be attack. And then what else do we need to add for this? I'm trying to remember. Hold on. That's why attack H exists. All right, so we need, it's not going to be an admin. It does need a name, call it attacker, ID of attacker. So we got those, config JSON. Yeah, I'm just going to try this. I want to see what happens here. Okay, so we do have to use the local URL. So we'll do... Let's just set up a couple while we're doing this. This is kind of an annoying process. So it's going to be HTTPS 127. So what it's saying is I cannot make this call over this standard network call. I have to actually make it over a specific loopback address in here. So this is kind of like an administrative loopback interface. I did that wrong. I think it's 8081. So we'll make this. By the way, happy Sunday, everybody. Hope this is going to be... I'm so happy to be back on here. Even though I had to take like 20 minutes to kind of chill out before the stream because I had this massive headache, probably from eating like crap the whole time. Something failed. What failed? Create Packer directory for this user. What failed though? Oh, change localhost. I think this can be successfully ignored. It's fine. Oh, today's Jocko drink is still lemon lime, which you can't see because which is funny because look, it's like a hole in my head as I move it. You can see the text behind it because it's perfect green screen chroma color. But no, this is lemon lime. Actually, there was a Prime sale on the Jocko drinks, so I picked up a whole bunch of new flavors to try out. I actually really like the sour apple. I wish they had left the name as Sour Apple Sniper. I liked that. All right, so what we'll do is we're going to call this next one Defender. Defender-er. So we're going to do Attacker, Defender, and Cloud. We're going to create a couple different users in here. The pink lemonade's your favorite so far? Dude, I really like the Afterburner Orange. That one's my favorite. And in fact, I don't know if they still call it Afterburner Orange. I don't know why they changed the labels. I'm like, that was part of the fun of them. Yeah, you had Dax Savage, Sour Apple Sniper, all those different Afterburner Orange. I loved all those names. Let's see. This is gonna be flat. So Oreo, what I'm doing is I'm just provisioning a couple new users on Ludus, the kind of like the orchestration tool that we're using to basically it's gonna act kind of like Terraform and an Ansible Launchpad for Proxmox. It was specifically designed for Proxmox. So actually, you install it on a base Debian 12 system. Ludus actually goes and sets up and installs Proxmox for you. You don't have to do anything. The install process is great. I'll show you what this is. So if you go to ludus.cloud in here, so it was specifically designed as a way to develop and quickly deploy testing ranges for red teamers. So here's an example, setting up a very basic Active Directory domain. So pretty much, like I said, you install Debian 12, you go download the Ludus server installer, you run it, bam, it handles everything. And what's cool here is like you can have Windows Network, Redirector Network, Kali Network. This is something like what we're going to be building out. And so we'll be able to like say, hey, all these things kind of go back and forth. Let's see. Trying to see if there was just the documentation. The documentation is actually very good too. So for example, once you go through like the quick start deployment options, there is environment guides here on how to set up some very basic labs that people have already built out. So eventually we'll go build out our own that looks a bit more like this. This is a bit what I had envisioned right here. Where we'd have, this would be whatever the target network is. This would be the cloud network. This would be the attacker infrastructure. And we could go deploy those out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you can set these up as VLAN. So like this one's VLAN 10, this one's VLAN 20, this one's VLAN 99. And then you can set up rules between them. So this is all various things that I still need to learn about Ludus. But we can go ahead and start setting up a basic attack infrastructure and be able to do some stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking about doing right now. That's Buildout. Basic Active Directory network. So like here's an example of this one right here. Very basic example. Windows network, Kali box. And probably what I'll do is I'll go take this and modify it so we can put in another Windows attack box. So we'll have Kali, we'll have a Windows attack box, and then those two we can actually just work on in this. So I tell you what, actually, let me go hop back over here. I'm gonna make a new called dev. We're gonna make a dev one. King Shalomi is online. Welcome, man. Come on in. The water, the bits, they're nice and warm. All right, cool. So we're gonna make one more user. We're gonna call this the dev user, and there we go. All right, so let's do blow this up a little bit more so it'll be easier for y'all to read. Ludus users list. Yeah, so the site is ludus.cloud. That's the site there. Wait, we just made a bunch of users, but... Hang on, what's going on here? So yeah, we have all these guys here, but why are these users not showing up here? Let's pop into Tmux. Let me I think I fat fingered my password. Yep. There we go. What's your preferred method of RDP into Windows? Well, actually, we're going to be using it. Normally, I would just use... if I'm doing it from... I'm guessing you're asking Genesis from Kali. And I think X-Free RDP. I always have to double check. Yeah. So one of the cool things about X-Free RDP is I believe you can do a pass the hash with it. Yeah. So X-Free RDP, super handy in that case, Genesis. I don't say ever, probably out of the 6 years I've been doing this, I think I've only really needed to RDP into a system like 4 or 5 times. Maybe 6. So this is the way I always did it here. Oh, maybe this is what's causing it to blink. I'm going to set this up for later. Something on this monitor keeps blinking and it's driving me bananas. So yeah, so this was one of the cool things about X-Free RDP, is that you could do this. Really, if you had a Windows attack box and you used a lot of the Ludus on the brain. If you used a lot of the Rubius impersonation tricks that we used for our Windows attack box in the RTO lab, right? So you spawn a net-only session, you use, Proxifier to be able to tunnel the traffic into the target network over your C2 channel. You could do it that way a lot easier than this. But if you had to choose one, this would be probably a decent way to do it. Yeah, it's usually... There's typically nothing I can really do over RDP that I can't do in other ways. So that's why I don't usually go RDP into a system unless I have exhausted a bunch of other methods. It's typically a last resort, Hail Mary type move. So what I think I want to do is let's get this lab up here and going. But I want to know why. So how come... So I wonder... Oh, maybe none of those users actually finished deploying. Let me go look at something real fast. Ludus users. Oh, that's right. You got to tell it list all. Okay. Okay, see, that's weird because now, for some reason, even though, like, if we look in the home directory, we see home folders for each of these guys. So what has happened is something in this deployment, when it failed, didn't end up creating the users. Okay, temporary error. You can use ignore errors to skip failed roles and finish processing the list of Galaxy roles. Install collections and roles together for the user. So I wonder why this is failing, though. So let me try something real quick here. I'm going to copy this. We'll go put it back into Tmux. I want to try this now. Because I'm not sure if they expect you maybe just to run this command. God, this output is atrocious. Now, Chris, it's usually like a Hail Mary for me because I know I can do it over that, but typically it's got to be something that I have exhausted other means of getting it done. Because there's usually a lot simpler ways to do that, and I'm not typically like sitting down like I'm rifling through somebody's files. Plus, I can do it a lot quicker over some kind of command line interface, right? So I'm just formatting this real quick so we can see what the hell the error code was. Oh god, the lines are so long. So right there, it's saying it has an issue with Ansible Galaxy LAE Proxmox not installed. Unknown error when attempting. Call this. So here's the error right here. So warning, LAE Proxmox was not installed successfully. Unknown error. Attempted to call Galaxy API error unknown. Temporary failure in name resolution. Oh, you know what? This should be an issue. It sounds like it's having trouble checking, like reaching this DNS name. Oh, interesting. Let's do a confirmatory test. So it works on quad 1s, works on quad 8s, but... And now it works on quad 9s. Hold on. But what's our DNS server in here? Interesting. Oh, that's why. This name server is currently offline. Okay. Now it's making sense. That was my DNS server that shat itself. Let's wipe this out. There we go. Now let's go try this shit again. Actually, to it. History, rep. All right, so let's go run this again. So we're gonna run attacker first. It was DNS. My Raspberry Pi that I had running my DNS server absolutely shat itself in a horrible way. And so I'm gonna replace it. It's like a Raspberry Pi 3. I'm gonna replace it with a 5 Pi. But it's gonna be offline for it. So I have my DNS redirecting to a public resolver that does ad blocking. It's not as nice though. So you could use Chisel, Genesis, if you wanted to, but that really depends on whatever your base system is. So, for example, if you're just doing RDP from Windows, you can copy files across RDP. So you could do it very easily that way. Another option would be to have like some kind of shared cloud storage. So, for example, you could have Mega, because Mega doesn't scan shit. So I've used Mega cloud services to move malware from one of my testing machines to my developer machine in the past. So malware samples that I was testing. Cool. Now they're actually generating. Perfect. They're in a case. I mean, and I think part of the problem is for some reason it was getting too hot and it was thermal throttling bad and just having issues. So the new case is actually going to be vented with an active sink on it instead of just like a little passive heat sink. So we'll let this run real fast. We're going to the Hack the Box Academy AD section. Nice. Dude, there's so many nooks and crannies in AD, and it's funny because everybody thinks, oh, you know, all the attack paths have been discovered. It's like, not really. It's like there's always something fun in there that you could do with various levels of ridiculousness, right? Chris, dude, dude. This is some of my happy time of the day, right? Even when I'm sitting here like banging my head against stuff, like when we had those marathon 5-hour, 6-hour streams during RTO, and I think that was before you came in, and like GoPro was helping me troubleshoot the regular expressions because the sleep coding language had a weird ass implementation of regex, and so we had to suss that out. No regex. Regex is banned. If it was regular regex, yes. But whatever sleep uses is not regular regex. I love the dial-up sound. Hey, Rock, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. All right, cool. So we'll make a... All right, so we got attacker, defender, cloud, and then the dev environment. Cool. So we'll spin these up, and then what we can do is we'll deploy that very basic AD lab. We'll make a modification to it to have a Windows server in there too, and then probably what we'll do is we'll take that Windows server and maybe, or that Windows system, and maybe have it maybe do Commando. I don't know, man. I always have a lot of trouble getting Commando to install correctly. All right, so there's cloud, and then let's get dev here. Oh, there we go. Now, typically, if I really wanted to, I could go and like back up all these API keys and stuff. I won't need to because I'm going to be running this as user Blaze. User Blaze on this system has admin privileges, which means he has impersonation privileges. So I could just go tell it, hey, do this as user cloud, and then I can deploy a range as the user cloud. I don't have to worry about going and logging into those users. Trying to use AI for regex. I bet that was an absolute Charlie Foxtrot, Oni. I can almost guarantee it. So now, once this is done, awesome. So now, do Ludus list users all. Yeah. Are you saying couldn't find what? Oh, I did it backwards. Users list all. There we go. Now we're cooking with propane. Nervous because I'm going back into hacking studies full time again. I took a break for a while. Dude, aside from what I was doing at work, so basically from like maybe 2019 until I started streaming, you're talking like 5 years pretty much. That was a very extended break. I didn't do stuff outside of work. And the reason for that is because I had 2 little kids. And so rather than learning about hacking, I was spending time with the family. I was learning about them. So they're 2 very different little boys. I mean, they're cool in their own way, but they're so vastly different. And so that was basically what I was doing, figuring out how to relate to them and take care of the family and spend time with them. And I didn't go to like Dallas Hackers Association for a long time because I would literally have the thought I got off work and I was like, okay, cool. So I could go to DHA and I could be there and get home after my wife and son are in bed. Or I could go home and I could go see them because I only got to see them for like 20 minutes this morning and that's it. And so a lot of times it just defaulted over to the family side. Even though it was only once a month, like at the end of the day, I was just like, I just want to fucking go home and go see my kid. Go see my wife. So don't feel bad, dude. You can totally get back into it. Yeah, spending the time with the family is very important. Oh yeah, I know Pony. Yeah. Yep. I missed DHA this month, and I think DC214 was last week, and I haven't been there in a long time. I need to make time to go there. But I kind of like was thinking I'll alternate because I really do hate canceling the middle of the week streams. Right now, watching Supernatural with my kids. Nice. Wait, what show was Supernatural? That was that the one with the two brothers and like their demon hunters? Yeah, it was. That was actually a really cool show until they started doing the whole like the whole Angels arc, and then it just went off the rails, and that's when I stopped watching. All right, so let me see. So I've got this. I think we're good. Actually gets good. I would not change the ending. Okay. Well, right now I get about 1 hour of TV watching time a week. So I don't know when I'm ever going to get back to Supernatural, if ever. Let's see. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go into the dev environment, and that's where we're going to deploy this lab here. So let's go back now that we got that all sorted out. The ending's horrible. I have these discussions with one of my guys at work all the time. He'll think something's amazing, I'll think it's terrible. He'll think something's terrible, I'll think it's amazing. So, for example, he doesn't like the movie Hackers. And I love the movie Hackers. It is such a cult favorite of mine. And so, but again, he likes, I'm trying to think of an example of something he likes that I hated. I don't remember. But yeah, he talked about it, and I was like, no, that's garbage. And I talk about something else, he'd be like, no, that's garbage. All right, well, actually, let's do something real quick on the Ludus config here. Let's do this. Let's CD to dev. Actually, let's do it. Let's do, no, I'm gonna do something different. Let's hop back into Tmux. Exit, clear this, and then Lappin. What's up, my dude? Wait, weren't you in here earlier? Oh no, that was the old back scroll. I didn't turn on the chat window before I launched the stream, so it didn't catch the first couple of things in there. I did have a guy tell me one time that I sounded like whatever the character was that played God. He said that I sounded like him when we would play games on Discord. So he'd always ask me to say lines that I didn't know because I had stopped watching the end of the series. All right, so what we're going to do here is did we install sudo on this? No, we don't have sudo. So what we're going to do is we're going to su to root, and then we're going to su to dev. And then we're going to cd home. There we go. So now we're going to rename this window dev. And now what we'll do is we will set up our range and stuff here. So we're going to organize these different ranges by the actual user in here. Killed off my boy Crowley. I told my brother one time, because he and I were watching it about the same time. I was watching it with my then girlfriend, my now wife, and we were watching it, and something happened, and it was like another one of those, like, Sam can't kill Dean or something, even though it would close the gates of hell forever. I straight up texted my brother after that episode. It's like, if I close the gates of hell, I'd take you out by hand. I wouldn't even. I'd give you the mercy of a quick death, but I still take you out. Okay, let's call this we'll call this dev range ammo. There's something it doesn't like here in the accept view. There's a bunch of trailing spaces there. Looks like it's good. Where's the right option? Is it W? Oh. Control O. I hate Nano. But whenever you're pasting stuff like this, whenever you're pasting this kind of stuff into Vim, it tries to auto-help with indenting, and it just fucks all the indenting up, and you kind of have to have the indenting correct for for YAMLs, so. It reminds me of the video as someone was asked, would they punch their wife for $1 billion, and they agreed and told their wife, "Here, you get over it for $1 billion." Yeah, exactly. Especially if I get to choose where to punch her. I'm just gonna punch her in the butt. Emacs greater than Nano. I wish I had the time to learn Emacs, but there's so much other shit in the world that I need to learn that Emacs is not worth my time, literally right now. I would really like the idea of knowing Emacs. And if I wanted to, if you guys see Dead Beef Monster in the chat, he's a freaking long time, old school, graybeard, Linux admin, and Emacs master. I don't know if he still uses it, but he's so damn old school that he still likes to use Perl whenever he can. And he does it just to piss me off. I'm 100% convinced. Let's see. Okay, so cool. Enter VLAN routing, reject rules. Only allow Windows to Kali on 443. Only allow Windows to Kali on 80, 80, 80. Allow Kali to Windows on all. Okay, cool. So what this network is doing is it's simulating that we've got some restrictions, and I think that's in the diagram here. Yeah, so it's simulating that we have some kind of outbound network filtering, right? 80, excuse me. 80, 443, and 80, 80 are allowed on egress. Everything is allowed internally, which is kind of weird. These actually probably should be flip-flopped, but whatever. Anytime I have to do something, he has to do something with a CSV, caffeine, he's popping into Perl. And I tease him mercilessly about it. Alright, so there's our dev range. So we've got this set up. Oh, this is no. Oh, actually, we need to go modify this. Come to think of it. But we're gonna do it in Vim because fuck Nano. Alright, let's see. So we need... It's C or Perl, exactly. I think I can do this in visual mode here. Yank that. There we go. And then what we're going to do is down here in Kali. Kali's in VLAN 99, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this one here. And we're going to do a modification. Modify! And do we want to make this Windows 10? Not sure. Ludus templates list. We do have Windows 11. We make it Windows 10 or Windows 11. You know what? Finally, I guess I'll bite the bullet. We'll do the debbing on Windows 11. Host name. This is going to be... Let's change this. This is going to be Windows 11 Attacker. There's our template. Is that the right template? Windows 11 22H x64 Enterprise template. Yep, perfect. Wait, which Adam Sandler movie, Genesis? Install additional tools. Oh, you know, I think I need to take out this domain information. It does not need to be in a domain. So let's do... Take those out. 8 gigs of RAM, 4 CPUs. That should be plenty. We're not going to be banging on this too much. Yeah, damn. Yeah, I'll leave it at 8 for now. Let's see, so we're gonna install Windows. What else do we want to do on this thing? I think that's about it. We don't really want to do a ton on it. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it like that. If we need to go mess with it later, I will. Big Daddy. Big Daddy actually really was a good Adam Sandler movie. When he got into like the rom-com vibe, it's kind of when I fell off. 50 First Dates was okay, but Happy Gilmore was super good. I think that was probably one of his best roles because it had a really good story and it was stupid funny. Like it was stupid and it was funny, but it was stupid funny as well. All right, so I think that's all we actually need to do for this one. So I think it's Ludus range big set. I forget what the command is here. Set tac f dev range.yaml. I think that should be good. Oh, you know what? Except I forgot something. What was his API key? Damn it. Hold on, I got it up here. Here's dev. Copy that. So what we can do is we'll make this a little bit easier here. I want to do that, but it doesn't have an API key. So what we'll do is we're going to vim the bash rc for Ludus. Down here at the bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to do another export. So we'll export Ludus. I think it's API key. Damn it. There we go. And then what we'll do is we can source it. That'll give us that API key. Now we should be able to run this. Oh, dang it. I forgot because I copied that one. We got to change it. So this actually should be, I forgot to change the network association. This would be VLAN 99 and this one will be 2. There we go. So number 1 will be Kali, number 2 will be all. Configuration error, duplicate VM name found. What? No, it's not. I changed the VM name. Oh no, I changed the host name. Dang it. We'll just do that. Now let's try it. Your mom changed the VM name. I doubt it. If you knew how completely technically underskilled my mother was, you're like, no, she didn't. So what we're doing right now, laughing, is we're going to set up a modified version of the very basic Active Directory network here. And we're going to use this as basically a developer network. So we're going to have a Kali box, we're going to have a Windows box, and we'll have these two attack systems here. So we'll have we should have like a Windows. Yeah, for malware dev, actually, I think what we're going to do is I really would like to tinker around with PowerShell some more. So I finished the book I was reading on vacation, and I had that in my work backpack, which I took with me. And I started digging into it, and I was just like voracious for the knowledge. So I really want to dig into that more. So yeah, we're going to use it for malware development. We're going to use it for a couple other things. Let's see. I think it's range deploy. Limited deploy VM to match the specified pattern. I think that's it. I think it's status after this. We'll follow this log. We'll see how long it takes. So we cloned 100, 116. Okay, there we go. So now you see we got dev router Debian 11. So it's spinning up the router, and then it's going to start spinning up the other boxes. I dare you to do it in Common Lisp. Oh, go fornicate yourself with a sharp implement Lisp. Golly. This year I'm looking to build my own home lab with managed switches and all. Oh yeah, dude. You can get used, like Oni was saying, you can get used Cisco equipment pretty cheap on like eBay. And so, in fact, let's go look real quick. eBay.com. Cisco switch. Let's see. So this is an SG300. Let's do for like a 2960. These are what I used back in the day. Dude, $100 right here. And this would be more than plenty for what you need. And I think the 2960s are layer 3 switches, if I remember right. Hitting a language as well. Okay, hold on. Everything in Lisp is a damn wrapped in parentheses. And plus, trying to find acceptable libraries to use in Lisp, God, the craziness that you could do in Lisp with just parentheses is absolutely insane. And so after a buddy showed me an example of like some of the, let's call it lol code you could do with Lisp, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm so fine without that in my life. All right, so what failed up here? Oh, skipping. Okay. Got it. Linux, what's up, my man? Linux, did you get that that message I was asking you about? Did they finally send that over to you? Dude, Genesis, you joke about that. He said, I'm going to order a Switch from eBay and they're just going to send me a picture of the Switch. Read the description carefully because they have to list that. Because what guys were doing with like NVIDIA cards was they were making them like 2% cheaper and listing them on eBay, but they were listing pictures of the card and not actually sending the card. And then just, they'd send it and it's like, hey, it was accurate to the description. Dude, I forgot it's Sunday. That makes sense why they haven't sent it yet. Tried to apply for a job and didn't make it, and that's about it for me. Like, yeah, like they didn't like set you up for an interview or give you any kind of technical assessment, Oreo? Got an NVIDIA server GPU, nice. Well, this is running real fast. I just realized I still had desktop audio turned on, so I hope y'all didn't hear weird stuff. While this is running, I'm going to go run to the bathroom real quick, so I will be right back. I'm back. Oh, that little slide in effect. Let's check and see how everything's going here. All right, so it looks like we're getting pretty good. Shut up, baby. I know it. Let's see. How far along are we? Ooh, task reboot.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Oni. Oni. This is why I have trust issues. Let's look this up. Let's see. Testing mode. Deployment options. Let me look at this. No, that's not what I need. Configuration. Alright, so what we're looking at here is I kind of wanted to see... Okay, cool. So here's a breakdown of the various config options that it can have. Like, okay, so here's what we can have for Office. So let's see what we've got for Windows. Let's see, sysprep. Set true to run sysprep before other tasks. What is sysprep again? Hey, Caffeine, have a good night, man. Thanks for popping in. Always appreciate it. Love seeing y'all chatting in the chat. God, I bottle myself, bottle my mind. It's mind-boggling, my eloquence. You can run sysprep 1001 times. Interesting. In previous versions of Windows, you can use the skip rearm answer file setting to reset Windows product activation clock. Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. So here in Windows, we could do sysprep. Install additional tools. Okay, so if you install additional tools, you're going to get Firefox, Chrome, VS Code, Burp, 7-Zip, Process Hacker, IL-Spy, and other useful utilities. Okay, cool. Chocolate ignore checksums. Oh, okay. So we could also define Chocolate packages to install. Nice. Okay. I've been here 2 years. You know, I'm still not used to hearing y'all. Y'all is just a contraction. It's you all. What's funny is whenever you hear all y'all. That's what are all y'all doing? It's like, okay, what are all you all doing? Y'all do. Yeah, y'all do. Yeah. If you had seen it, y'all have shit your pants too. Oh. Oh, here we go. Damn it, that's what I needed. Visual Studio version. Community Edition. 2020 cannot target less than .NET 4.5. Default undefined. Don't install Visual Studio. Okay. So that we actually needed to add this too, because I did want Visual Studio. What is VS Codium? Curious about that. Open source binaries for VS Code. more south you go in the U.S., the contractions get so ridiculous. They do, man. Dude, you should hear. I lived in Louisiana for a couple years, and some of the Creole down there was freaking nuts. Oh, cool. So VS Codium is like an open source VS Code. Cool. And so why does this exist? VS Code source code is open source MIT license, but the product available for download is licensed under Not Floss license, contains telemetry and tracking. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Been called out of your accent a few times. Dude, we talked and I didn't think you had an accent. I mean, and most of the accent you hear in this area in Dallas is not much of an accent. I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, old school MMO, right? And I played with this brother and sister that were from Alabama, and it was so funny because he had a huge Southern drawl. So anytime somebody new came into the Ventrilo voice chat, that's how old this was. I'd always ask him, it's like, hey, after hearing everybody in the group talk, which one of us is from Texas? And they'd always pick him, and it would piss him off endlessly. He's like, I'm not from no damn Texas. You're a Valley girl, like, for sure, totally, you know? Like, for real, bruh. Look. Hello. You were digging the trash can, bitch. Here's Panda. She's actually a lot more mellow. Like, I can feel her heart beating, and it's not going 10,000 miles an hour right now. I don't know what my sister-in-law did when she had her, but now she's like, I'm so chill. And like I said, I think she suspects that if I wanted to, I could get rid of her. She realizes it, don't you? No. Born and raised in the swamps of Georgia. It's funny because I've never been to Georgia, but I don't think of Georgia as being swampy. I should go visit. Like, dude, you know? Yeah, I'm getting total surfer boy vibes from you. Damn it. So I want to actually modify this system here. So I want to add some stuff here. So for Windows, did we have sysprep in here? I think sysprep true is the default. European. Hey! European on my boots, turn the other way. Do you know why all the IT guys disappeared in the midst of this CrowdStrike fiasco? Because they ransomware. It's kind of funny. This is installing VS Code, and this example installs VS Code and VS Codium, which is kind of funny. So what I really want, though, I want to add this. Visual Studio 2019. Actually, I think we could just do 2022. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do that for now. Really comes out when I'm around somebody else there. So I dated this girl that I met at a martial arts convention. It was in St. Louis. She was from Illinois. I was from Texas, so we did like this long distance thing for a while. And it was funny because when I go visit her, she always thought it was hilarious I didn't have a Texas accent or like a Southern accent of any kind. Except she noticed that when I got like angry or upset, then it would come out. And so she thought that was hilarious. Like if I was driving us somewhere and somebody like cut me off and I started like road rage and yelling at them, she's like, "Oh, there it is." I think that's really all I wanted. Go ahead and modify this a tiny bit. Where does this need to go? This needs to go in the Windows subsection here. Then chocolate to packages. And then the chocolate packages. Let me see actually what we've got in chocolate. Package manager for Windows. Not what I wanted. Looking for packages. There we go. Flash player plugin? Damn. Trying to see if there's anything else I want in here. Actually, I'm really just looking for something to do as a... free backup software to store encrypted backups online. Okay, not what I was looking for. I had a French-Canadian guy tell me that he could not understand me through my accent. And I said, my accent? Listen here, you son of a bitch toad eating French fry. What's funny is is seeing French Canadians go talk French to France to people from France, because it just grates on their nerves so bad. And it's like somebody without a Southern accent talking to somebody with a Southern accent, if you don't like the Southern accent. I would have said something different, but he immediately surrendered and ran away. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, I want to try this, because I think these machines may have internet access. So I'm going to use that as an example. Megasync. Oh, I don't want to copy the whole thing. Bastard. All right, just type it in. Megasync. Of course, I make these changes after the lab's like pretty much already deployed. But what I want to do here is once this lab is kind of like set up and deployed, we'll then be able to use this to test out some of this PowerShell stuff. Because, dude, I really was digging this book a lot. So what I think I want to do is this. Is kind of, we'll go through and we'll like work through the first couple of sections and notes that I've made in here. And then we'll just kind of keep banging along. And eventually, I think what I would like to do is go through and actually record like a video series for YouTube on this material. Like understanding internals. So once we've kind of sussed it out, we've banged on it in the live stream and understood it, I'll take kind of this distilled knowledge and throw it up into like an actual series of videos on YouTube. So this book is Windows Security Internals in PowerShell. by James Forshaw. Super smart dude. Yeah, he's at Google's Project Zero. So that right there should tell you he's stupid smart. Hello, Panda. So, but like basically, just I went chapter by chapter. So I was trying to think maybe put it together like a lecture series, similar to how a lot of like physics professors kind of do, right? They have the book and they're going off the book and they're working through it. I haven't got so far into it as to making little ASCII art diagrams. Because the process of making the diagram helps me kind of understand it a little bit better. I wasn't quite sure how to do the arrows, so I did the arrows this way. So like, this is something else I want to go reproduce, because I just took a picture of it and threw it in here, but I actually would want to like go build these out, so I'm not just straight up like, hey, here's a picture from the book and jacking the stuff. Get down, Peter. Get down. Get down, you beastie. Alright, so while this is running, I'll be right back. I gotta go do one more thing. Alright, I'm back. There we go. Alright, so that's installing additional tools. So actually, I want to go ahead and do that real fast. Actually, there's a really cool site you can use to make this. I think it's Tic-Tac Diagram.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back, baby. That is not it. Look what the site is. ASCII art diagram. There it is, TextTic. This is a super handy page for making ASCII art diagrams. Do this over here. I'm gonna remake this real fast. So, super easy to do. Let's say we want to start with just a big old square. And then we're gonna have here is the object manager. And if you want to, you can even resize these. Check this out. If I want to move this over. It's really handy for making these cool little ASCII diagrams. Okay, so Oni was saying you could use diagrams.io, draw.io. I could. I just like this site. I think you could even log in and save it up there, but I didn't. This is going to be the NT OS kernel executive. I think you can even do like copy paste here. Big manager. There we go. So this right here is going to be the configuration manager. Minor modification and we're all good. All right, this could be security reference monitor. Should have just defanged it. I really need to go through though with Nightbot and turn on certain URL permits. Actually, what I could do is I should be able to do that in what's it called, StreamerBot, where if it detects a URL, it should drop it. But... let's see. So this is going to be our system call interface. This down. Just draw this out nice and pretty. I used to actually say, so speaking of Southern accents, my mother hated it when I would say purdy because she grew up in East Texas. And so she really didn't like the deep Southern drawl for some reason, even though I'm sure she had one growing up. Actually, no, she didn't because my grandmother was from Canada. And so she beat it out of the children. Probably literally and figuratively. So, yeah, so I would say something is purdy just to piss her off. What we'll do is we'll put this thing right here. This is going to be this kernel mode. And then down here, say this is user mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to create ourselves a little line. Yeah, she hated it when I would say that. And I'd say it in a way also to like give her a compliment and mess her up, be like, Mama, you're so purdy. She's like, stop saying that, I raised you to speak right. So there's a user application there. And so the user applications are going to pass that's where we want it. But what I want to do is... oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. Whee! I just started messing with this tool the other day. There we go. This is actually a really neat little tool. It's pretty fun. I like the way it works. Delete that out. All right, so let's see. So then we're gonna have another line. Go to there. And this one is going to pass from here. Wait, I need to do it this way. Yeah, it's kind of cool that it has these like neat little mounting points to it. Alright, then we need to duplicate a couple more. Let's see. Oh, it's something on my monitor. Alright, so let's make a couple more duplications here. Set these up. The good thing about the ASCII diagrams, though, is they're so easy to change, like if you, or to basically store without having to worry about any kind of visual encoding. Let's see, this would be... It says thread manager. Do this, and we'll do advanced. And then memory manager, this is the last thing. Like I said, this is something I've been wanting to learn for a long time, and I didn't realize how badly I really wanted to learn this until I dove into it on vacation, and I'm just like, oh, tell me more, senpai. Right, so the syscall interface is also going to go there. Can you put a link for the site? Yeah, man. It is. That's the site we're using to draw the diagram here. Move this up a little bit. Let's check in on Ludus real quick. Hey, it's done. Hey, nothing failed on it. Okay, cool. Let's go see how it looks over here. So we've got our dev environment right there. Bam. We've got Windows domain controller, PC connected to it. Got a Kali dev, got this. So now, I gotta figure out, let's come back over here. I think what we're gonna do now, let's outdo, I think it's Ludus range get. Yeah, there we go. So 10799 is Kali, 10799.2. That's our Windows attack box and our router. Cool. Okay, Oni. Not a problem, man. Sweet. So now, I think what we need to do is actually get the WireGuard config here. Let's do Ludus users. What do we need to get? Right. I think actually the command might be Ludus WireGuard get. Bye, Tony. Ah, there it is. That's not it. All right, so now I'm excited for come end of the year because what I'm looking forward to is we'll have the new 5000 series graphics cards are coming out. And once those are out, I was going to build a new PC. Like I said, I don't like to change PCs often, so usually I'll build one that's like maxed out specs for what I can get, and then just ride that sucker into the ground. This one right now is giving me some trouble, and so what I want to do is repurpose it for my wife so she could use it, and then get myself a new one that's like just decked out to the nines. So it's funny you mentioned that, laughing, because actually I need to go dig into the DisplayPort spec, because if y'all have not seen Hack 5, they've got their, I think they call it the crab, and it's supposed to like sit in line and allow you to like basically capture traffic going over HDMI, and so you could see what was happening there. The screen crab, I think that's what it's called, and I really wanted to use that on a physical pen test. Every freaking computer there used DisplayPort. It was such a beatdown. Dude, Micro Center has some good stuff in it. I like Micro Center. Let's see. Let me do something. I wonder if I need to make like Ludus. Save that real fast. I actually really want to rename that one. Alright, cool. So now, we should have our Ludus dev range set up here. Maybe use a DisplayPort to HDMI converter both in and out. You could, but the problem I've noticed with some of those is that the signal quality goes to shit. So, for example, like I use ultra wides for home and work. I have three sets of ultra wides. I've got one for my personal computer. I have one on my work computer in my house, and I've got one at my work computer in my office because they make working so much easier. And if I tried to do HDMI over that, it just runs horrible. I cap out at like 30 FPS. It's weird. I've never figured it out. DisplayPort just works fine. So I know that there's some ways to get those higher resolutions on HDMI. I don't know if that is an issue with this ultra wide, because it's one of the first generation ultra wides. I got this thing in like 2018. maybe 2017. And it's still running great, except the power cable is starting to fray a little bit, so I gotta repair the power cable. But yeah, so what I'd rather like to have on it is because you can do some stuff with DisplayPort. I believe it can carry data packets too. And you could like have USB going over that DisplayPort. So if I could just make something like a screen grab that's using DisplayPort, I might be able to do some really badass stuff with it. So let me check something here. So we should be able to reach. Let's do this. So this was Goad. I'm going to duplicate this. Yes. So I do. We're going to call this dev. And what we need to do is go modify this. Let's go to properties. So in this case, what did it say it was? It said I think it was, yeah, 1077.9. So what we'll do here is we're going to change this. And what we'll do is we'll go test that real quick. Hey, cooking with propane. All right, so then I just need to modify this. It should have CASM VNC on it. Very cool. Let's close this out. Let's go see if the CASM VNC works. Very cool. So this is inside of our dev environment right here. Perfect. Heck yeah. That didn't take too long to deploy either. Nice. All right, so now what I need to add though is I need to add a remote desktop. Windows 11 attacker. The question is, that's not going to work. I just realized I gave it the wrong IP address. It's not .1, it is .2. Hey, cool. So at least it's connecting, right? If we're getting prompted for credentials, we've gotten a connection. So now I got to figure out what the hell the credentials are. It is not user password. Let me think. User. Windows? No. What is it? I imagine the password is root, but it's on a. So that's a Windows box, bro. Let's see. We got a couple instances of password found here. That's all of them, though. So what is it on the default install, though? You know what? Let's just go get a console connection over to it. So I'll tell you something funny. We were talking about this is a program called Royal TS. Is what I'm using right here. Really like this tool. Makes managing multiple connections and especially SSH hops super easy. And doing SFTP to those SSH boxes also. What's funny though is right now this Proxmox tab is actually running an embedded web server or embedded web browser. So if I go double click something like Windows 11 attacker, it opens up the console. You see it opened a second tab here. If I try this on Royal TSX, which is the version for Mac, it just crashes the desktop completely. So I have sent so many bug reports because I tried so many different ways to make it work, and every time I just sent the crash dump to him. Oh, so it's local user. Okay. So maybe it's a local user? Or a local user password. There we go. So it's local user password. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed that in here. So one of the cool things also is you can have embedded credentials in here. So I can specify username and password. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close this. I'm going to try to reconnect. I want to see if it actually works. Perfect. Awesome. Very cool. Now, what did this do on Ludus over here? Oh, okay, so it logged this one out because we stole the desktop session. Perfect. This is what I was a little bit afraid of, is I think we're going to need to bump that up to 16 because, look, we're just running fuck all, and we're already using 6 of 8 gigs on here. So let's do that in our Ludus config real quick. So here in our attack box, we're going to have to up the RAM to 16. Let's go check the other machines real quick. So router, perfectly fine. Domain controller, it doesn't really need much. We're going to be doing too much on it. This Windows 11 box, same boat. Kali, I think fuck all. So, alright, so that's what we'll do there, is we will change that. This rig is 128 gigs of RAM, GoPro. So if I wanted to, I could upgrade it to as much as 256 gigabytes. It's a base 64 system, Laughing, so there's approximately 64 gigs to a gigabit. Cool, I can't shut down. So I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to actually just make that as an ad hoc change real quick on here. Because we look at the overall server usage, right? Server right now, with just the one little range up, we're using 28 of 125 gigs. So once this shuts down, I'm going to manually bump the RAM. But we made the change in the config file, so if we respawn this, we should be good. Just waiting for this thing to close. There we go. Alright, so let's do hardware. Edit. What is... What is that? That's going to be 16,384. There we go. And it will power this back up. Now, once that comes back online, boots up pretty quick.
Caution.
Black
A
hacker
virus has been detected.
The hacker virus detected in the network.
I said the Cookie Monster virus. You have to send a flu shot to slow it down. What's up, man? What were y'all working on tonight, dude? Hackers of the world, unite. Hey, Chad. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can pop into this. Dude, Chad, I just got back from vacation. This is my first stream back, and I was reading a book. Oh, doing Hack the Box Academy? Nice. Mac OS fundamentals because I can't computer. Well, so what we're doing is building out a little bit of a developer lab. And so it's a real basic lab here on the home server. Let me show you a picture of it. So this is not it. Hang on. Here. So essentially this is what the lab is kind of look like. Except we modified it to where, so we've got one little Active Directory domain, an attacking Kali box, and we added an attacking window box right here. And so what we're going to do is use this as like a minor tool malware development lab in here. So, but yeah, I just got back from vacation and I took a book to read. I finished that book. And so then I still had James Forshaw's Windows Internals book. I had it in my backpack. And I dug into that sucker, and I was just voracious for the knowledge because I've been dying to know more about Windows internals, and he does it with PowerShell in like a super accessible way. So actually, now that the range is set up, I think what I want to do is take a snapshot of the range here. Trying to think if there's a convenient way to do this. Let me look this up. I just minimized the page I actually needed. Let's see. Limit options, quick start, employer range. Did we talk about that? The Black dude, have a good night, man. Thanks for coming in. I know you're right now. You got shit to take care of. I understand, man. Have a great night. So I don't know if we talked about this book, Chad, but so far I'm liking it. Just from like what I read. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually going through and building out some notes on it. And so what we were doing just before y'all came in is actually I was converting this diagram to an ASCII art diagram because I love them. And so I was going to, and also it kind of helps me understand the different parts because I have to go transcribe it, right? And so what I'm thinking about doing is going through and building out these notes and kind of working through it and tinkering with it like we did for the RTO on stream. But then also perhaps use these notes to basically create a lecture series on YouTube of Windows internals. So that's kind of what I was thinking about right now. Of course, I'm going to try and say I do that, but then the editing time is probably what's going to kill me. So, because I suck at editing so bad. So, had a really good vacation, all things withstanding. So we went down to the Texas Gulf Coast, which just got hit by Hurricane Burl. And that's how they were saying it, so that's how I'm saying it. Hurricane Burl. And it messed up that place a lot. So thankfully everything was fine for like the house we had rented and whatnot. But it was such a, like the mosquitoes just got cranked up to 11. They were so bad. So there was a lot of indoor time, way more than usual. Put it on Taggart's school. I'll ask him about it. I mean, if he really wants to. Especially if he likes it. I mean. Alright. But now I kind of want to finish this diagram, but also at the same time, the lab is kind of up. Oh, wait. I was looking at some documentation real fast. Let me look at something. What is, it doesn't have it in here. I think they discussed it here in the environments guide for Game of Active Directory. Snapshot VMs. Okay, this is how they did it. Yeah, this is what they did. They just did they did QM to create the snapshots. So overgrown carrot, overgrown potato. If I was gonna be an overgrown anything, it'd probably be like an overgrown yam. Calm that at work. Hey, Panda. Hello, Panda. Guess you're a good girl. Alright, you know what I'll do is I'll modify this a little bit here. So we're done with this. We already analyzed that error. Alright, so range ID should be dev, I believe. Where is it? Let's come back over here. Yeah, so range ID should be dev. Let me copy these names out real fast. Dev Cali. And so what's also great about this book, the Windows Internal Security book, is he's doing it everything in PowerShell. So you're learning PowerShell as well as learning about the internals. So that is super awesome. Yeah. So everything here. So let me see, for example, like the first chapter, actually, yeah, let me show you the notes I wrote up. So the very first chapter in here, Chapter 1 is how to configure your PowerShell environment, make sure it's all set up. He wrote a special PowerShell module to have some help, like basically some helper functions to start exploring the internal structure. And you set that up, you get it running and going. And then here's a language overview of PowerShell. So different variable types. The idea here, though, is like, so a lot of us are used to like using pipelines in Linux. And pipelines in Linux use standard in and standard out, and they're sending text, just raw text, right? Or binary data or something, right? So everything in Linux is text and files on a disk. Pretty much everything in Windows is objects. And so when you're doing a pipeline in PowerShell, you're passing objects through the pipeline. And that, as soon as he explained that, I was like, holy shit, that makes so much more sense with some of the oddities I have seen when I'm trying to do stuff in PowerShell. It's called Windows Internal Security. So I'll find the link to it and I'll drop it in chat here. Let's see. Amazon. Windows Internal Security. James Forship. There we go. Check something here. There we go. So here's a link to it. If anybody wants to check it out. Chad got shut down. I need to rearrange my Twitch dashboard because I'm not actually using it for chat. And so like it scrolls so far. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So yeah, that's the book right here. As I said, it's only, and look at this. Look at this absolute horse shit. I mean, because it's on sale right now for $34, but it's $34 for the paperback, $36 for the Kindle version. I'm like, why? In fact, I don't even recommend getting it from here. I recommend going and get it from No Starch directly. No Starch Press. Windows Security entrance. Yeah, I recommend getting it from here directly because you can get the print and the ebook, right? I got it pre-ordered, so I got both. But I mean, and then you have it stored up in here, and you don't have to worry about Kindle losing the license or whatever and jacking you around. So whenever like, actually look at this, free ebook edition with every print book purchased. Plus early access lets you read full chapters before they're released. So actually I had early access to this book, I just never got around to it. So. To shit courses, yeah. So I mean, I love what do they have for Legos? Let me see. Badass Lego guns, cool, beautiful Legos. The brick gun, nice. I might actually look at some of these for doing little projects with my oldest son. He's really getting into Legos now. What do they have for hardware DIY? 10 projects for geeks. Ooh, that actually might be a fun one to do. So I got this really nice old Lenovo laptop refurbished from eBay for 200 bucks. It was running great. I put Linux on it. My son was playing. It was like a learning Linux, and he was having a blast with it, playing a bunch of learning games. But it shot itself, and I think the motherboard died. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually updating my Raspberry Pi that's running my DNS server, and then I'll repurpose the Pi 3 for him and just have it run Raspbian. Any prereqs before diving into the book? I mean, understanding the basics of computer interaction. So that would probably be about it. Just making sure you understand where that stuff's going on, or like how to interact with the operating system. Because it, from what I've seen, let me see. Let me look at the chapters real quick. Because he goes through. So part 1 is an overview of the Windows operating system. So setting up PowerShell, an overview of the kernel, user mode applications, and then the Windows Security Reference Monitor is in part 2. So talk about security access tokens, security descriptors, reading and assigning descriptors, access checks, auditing, looking at LSAS. So Windows Active Authentication and Active Directory Authentication, Interactive Authentication, Network Authentication, Kerberos, negotiating authentication and other security packages. Oh, cool. He actually has an appendix in here about building a domain for it. So this would actually be really badass to do. So maybe we'll use this as like a dev environment, but we'll go make like a WSI lab. We'll put that up on... build that for Ludus. They could include that in the environment testing, because I think this is such a really good idea. I like this. Dude, I really like the Kano kits. Actually, I got one for my nephew a couple years ago. He freaking loves it. Might be paying me for marketing. Yeah, shit. Actually, I had somebody ask me if I had a referral code for, what is it? For 0-point security, and I told him no. I asked Rasta for one, but he never got back to me. And the dude's super busy. I just figured, like, you know what? He did me a big enough solid just letting me stream the labs and having fun with it. And so if I send extra business this way, that's just my repayment for that. So, oh, that was you laughing. Yeah, it was. Okay. I'm so bad at remembering who said what. Oh, Al has a referral code, but I don't. Rude. Rude. Oh my god, I have so many emails. Look something real quick. Yeah, I got nothing. I got a LinkedIn message. That's about it. So, like I said, I'm not even concerned about it, just because I think he did me such a huge solid letting me stream the labs and have a lot of fun with it. So, and I've gotten a message from a couple folks thanking me for the videos because they've gone back and they've rewatched the live streams because I've got them all on a playlist for RTO, and just thanking me because the explanations and the shenanigans we did in the lab helped them prepare really well for the exam and like learning the material and understanding some of the more complicated concepts. So I was super happy about that too. Let's see. Oh, that's right. That's what I was doing. I forgot what I was doing. So these are the machines that we need to do. So what we'll do is we'll define VMs. Did there. There we go. This needs to come down. Let's see. I don't think I need anything but just a space between these. So there's our array of virtual machines. And then what we'll do is just change this. So all I'm doing is I'm just building out a little script real quick to make a snapshot of this lab as we just built it out. I think I can just use this code as is. Let's see. So create snapshot for the VM. ID is going to be this, echo VM found, description comment. Okay, yeah, I think we could just run this real fast here. What do I need to do? Oh, I forgot I couldn't find the QM command. How did we do this for Goad? Oh, that's what it was. We had to alias it because it's user bin QM for some reason, or for some reason user sbin wasn't in the path. That's what it was. So let's go add that real quick. Path is in. Path. Let's do dollar. Path is going to equal dollar path. User sbin. Source that again so we get our updated version. Oh, I screwed that up. It should be. Nope, undo that. Undo everything. Take that out. This could be export. There we go. And now if I do QM, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with propane. So let's copy our little script here. Oh, you know what? It probably won't work because this machine. He probably doesn't have access to actually run that command. Oh, damn it. We'll set this down here. So export path equals dollar path user sbin. There we go. Run that. Now we should have the QM command. Okay. Oh god, kill it. Do I need to run this as root? Yes, security command. Cool. There we go. So I had to run it with lay root permissions. Perfect. All right, so this is going now. Awesome. Look at something that's in the documentation real quick. Alright, so not such a big deal. But that should be helpful right there. And then... I'm surprised, you know, and that surprised me, GoPro, because I would thought S-Bin would be standard in the user path, but it just threw me. It was a little odd to me for some reason that it wasn't in there. Did it finish snapshot? Cool, I did. All right, so we got a couple of tools in here. One thing we did not get was we did not get Visual Studio in here. So if I wanted to, I could blow this away and restart it. It wouldn't be that big a deal. Tell you what, let's open up the Chrome. And we'll just go find Visual Studio 2022 and install it real quick. Don't sign in. Sure, set as default. That. Now, if you didn't notice this, or you didn't know this, but in Chrome here, they try to get crafty with like how they're gathering a bunch of their spying shit. So what you do is go to settings, you got to go into add topics and individually turn each of these off. Suggested sites off. Add measurements off. Go away. Go away now. Settings. Dark. Ah, there we go. Only feds use light mode. So let's do Visual Studio 2022. Unity. Let's go ahead and get this installed. Now this, if we ever need to blow this range away and reinstall it, it should actually already come with 2022 because we made the change to the config file, but we did that post deployment of the range. So this kid gave a talk at our security meetup and he used black on white terminal for everything. I was losing it the whole time. It was funny, you typically only see like a black on a white terminal if you're using the default Mac terminal. So let me check something here real fast. Last book question, the book before CRTO. Wait, what do you mean, Chad? Which book? Something. Windows internals? What? I'm lost. Because I mean, I didn't go through the Windows internals. Oh, take it before CRTO? It's definitely not. It's probably going to be beneficial, but not directly beneficial. It will help you understand some of the tasks that you're doing better just from reading the description list. Like, for example, where's he go over Kerberos in here? Let's see. Kerberos is on 457. That would probably be the most helpful part. Let's see, so it goes over initial user authentication, doing the TGSs. So, I mean, and he goes probably into more detail than you might need. But I'd say just reading on it, the things in here that might help with CRTO would be something like maybe understanding the security tokens. But even that's an if. That's a big if, because you don't go real deep into the security tokens in CRTO, nor do you need them. You need to understand kind of what you're doing and make sure you keep track of the context you're executing stuff in. The security auditing stuff could be handy. Understanding Windows authentication and Active Directory would be handy too. But I mean, I would say this is going to be overkill and probably a lot of outer kill. Like, there's stuff in here that's going to be way outside RTO. I would say doing this after RTO would make more sense. This will probably build on a lot of the stuff that you're going to learn in RTO. Which one is this CPTS again? Oh, the Hack the Box one? I'm not sure. I need to go look at that one so I can understand what's on it real quick. Oh, that's all. Wait, hold on. Is it Hack the Box or Altered Security? By the way, if y'all didn't know this, Altered Security is apparently the same guys that used to do Pentester Academy back in the day. And when they split off from INE, INE kept the name, and so they rebranded it to Altered Security. So it's those same awesome dudes. I actually met Vivek at the very first DEF CON I went to in 2019, I think. No. 2010. I think it was DEF CON 14, maybe? Oh, the book before CRTP. That one I can't tell you, because I can't tell you. I just don't know that certificate enough to be able to give you a good hint. But this book goes into pretty fine detail, which probably is more than what you'll need for those other ones. If you went through this book before doing those, it's going to set you up better for the exams, but do you need it? No, you don't. Required tools. I want to go through this. Let me look at this one. Visual Studio. Do we actually... You know what's funny? Before I did the install, I should have checked to see if we have Chocolatier. We do have Choco. It's AD exploitation via PowerShell. Oh, okay. This will overlap with that a bit, but really the AD exploitation is a small section of this book compared to like the rest of the book. And so if you were just to read that section, it may help. I'm not quite sure, because I haven't gotten very far in it yet, how much the sections build on as you go forward. So ask me again in like 2 months, and I might be able to give you a better explanation. Let's see. Install Visual Studio. Oh, cool. Actually, rather than doing it this way, I want to try this. Stop talking about books during the hacker stream now. Yeah, what kind of nerd reads books? Freaking nerds. That reminds me. Hold on. think we already added Visual Studio to our Ludus config. Yeah, we did. So we added Visual Studio version 2022. So this might be a little bit different. And actually, I just put this chocolate package in here just as in cases. So. Right, so while that's installing, let's go finish out our diagram. Here we go. All right, so we've got configman running here. And then what we're going to have is that one there, and then we're going to do another one. Up to here. Going to the advanced local procedure call. This is looking so ugly.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Barnos, you and Oni and Stealth, whatever he's in here. You guys kill me. I want to do this, move this over. Rearrange all this. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Because this right here is not the right line. So this should be an angled line. Put that down there. Okay. Yeah, so the object manager interacts with the input-output manager, process and thread management, and the advanced procedure calls. I think what we're going to do is right here. It makes it a little bit easier to read. This one needs to be extended over. There we go. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So the object manager checks with the configuration manager, also handles input, output, process and thread management, and advanced local processor calls, procedure calls. And then our syscall interface interacts with memory management. Yeah, I think that should be good right there. So let's shrink this down. Look at this one. So we've got our delineation between kernel mode and user mode right here. That here, and then there's a couple other things that we need to define out here. So there's also code integrity checks that happen. For some reason it wasn't grabbing the whole thing. So this is going to be our code integrity. And then we're going to have drivers. And this is going to be our drivers. There we go. So our input-output manager is going to interact with our drivers. And then our memory manager is going to interact with our code integrity. So I'm guessing that's probably going to be interacting with things like checking, do we have read, write, execute permissions into different code base, different segments of memory. So cool. Now, once this is all done, what's awesome is you can hit this view button and should be able to just hit Control C to copy it. So see if it'll paste in real fast. That didn't work. And there we go. Cool. So we'll have our nice little ASCII. Let's go drop that into our notes instead of this. So this should be our kernel exec. So we're going to take this out. And we'll put in a code block right here. Could shrink it down a bit. Try it. That'll work. This over. Bring these two guys over. There, that'll make it a little bit less annoying. Drop that in. Awesome. Looks a bit funny though. I just realized. Because notice how here, like, we've got these busted up lines where they're touching. So what we might want to do is take this up and over. That's a hard lesson to learn. We'll do is, because it can overlay them here in the display, but it can't overlay them whenever you actually get to the rules of text, right? Going to do is just bust this out a tiny bit. There we go. Let's see how that looks. That looks much better. We don't have all the broken lines happening. Oh, I missed a couple though. It's over. Now we're looking good. And so this might seem a bit ridiculous, especially like, hey, why don't you use it in something like, why using something like any other like diagram drawing tool? Part of this is you want to add a little bit of friction to your work. And what I mean is if it's too easy and your brain's not struggling with it a little bit, you're actually going to be more likely to forget it. This was a pain in the ass, right? So I had to go through and I had to kind of think about how I was going to lay this out and read the various parts multiple times, right? So because of that friction, it's just going to stick in my head better. So that was part of the reason why I started doing these little ASCII diagrams instead of doing something like, gosh, what is it? Visio? Yeah, instead of doing something like Visio or diagram.io or some of these other ones where they make it real pretty. But yeah, they're pretty and they're nice, but they also make it super easy. Some things we do want to be easy. This, something like you're trying to learn it though, you want to put a little bit of friction into the process. Oh, I missed another one. Damn. It's that one there. There we go. So system calls go to memory management. Those go to code integrity. Perfect. So grab this. Drop that in there. Awesome. Looks beautiful. Now, this is actually something really cool I didn't know about the various function names. Like when you're looking at the internal function names that you can call in Windows internals, is that they have a naming prefix. So NT or ZW, those are system call interfaces. There's also ones for security reference monitoring and object management, process and thread management. All these different ones right here. So I thought that was really cool to something that's kind of a neat detail that's not necessarily discussed in some places. So stuff like that just helps demystify a little bit about what you're reading. So for example, NT file open or ZW file open, different. I think there's actually a small difference right here. I think NT is calling it from user land and ZW is calling it from kernel land, if I remember correctly. Okay, cool. So now that that is all done, Charlie care about this more. Sleep calls in 6502 assembly are just a set number of nops. That's awesome. I didn't know that, GoPro. Hey, cool. Visual finished installing. I wonder if we're still gonna have to do the installer process. I wouldn't say draw IO is too easy. I guess we just leave it as general for now. In any graph drawing exercise, you spend a lot of time laying it out nicely. True. Alright, cool. So we've got it set up now. Let's go check in. So what other tools are recommended for LDEV? So we got Visual Studio. We need to install the C and the C++ runtime. So let's go continue without code. How can we adjust the installer? I'm trying to remember. I think we need to run the Visual Studio installer. Flashbang. Although it's funny, I can't really say that because I've got two bright ass lights like shining on my face right now. Alright, so let's modify this. So they didn't mention which version they're using here. I think they might have been using 2019, but it should be able to do everything with 2022 also. Individual components, workloads. I think this is what we need right here. Desktop development with C. Go ahead and install the .NET one as well. Go ahead and install those real quick. I missed the Ludus coverage, but how'd you find it? I don't have the hardware to spin it up, unfortunately. So far, it's been running great. Especially like, so what we're doing now, Frontis, is we're doing a small AD lab right here. So this one is the basic Active Directory lab. And we just made a modification to it where we added an additional Windows workstation. So we've got our Kali attack box, we're gonna have a Windows 11 attack box, and we've got one domain controller and one workstation. And so it so far is running pretty good, but we're just gonna use this as like a demonstration lab, so like, or for a development. So that's why I'm setting up the Windows attack box right now, so it will have a bunch of developer tools on it. And so probably what I'll do is maybe bust this out a little bit later, where it'll be slightly different in overlap. Gotta figure it out. Hello. But actually, this small lab didn't take very long to set up. This got into a little bit more of the Ansible side of Ludus. So Ludus does have some aspects of Terraform and Ansible kind of baked into them. And so if you go look at the configurations over here, here's an example configuration for like open source stuff that you can do with it. Oh, I wonder what the enterprise one is. Oh, available in Ludus Enterprise. Ah, fancy. But one of the things we looked at here was what we can set up in the YAML for Windows. So we can tell it whether or not to do sysprep, install some basic additional tools, install things with Chocolatey, install Office, which version of Office 64-bit, also which version of Visual Studio. So lots of cool stuff in here. See, they got under right here on templates. Let's see. Oh, that's just the machine templates. Let's see. Roles. Here we go. Yeah, I need to read through this some more because so roles are Ansible roles that are applied to VMs in Ludus after they are deployed and configured. So it's easy to add roles. Simply add the role Ludus defined in the roles key. Oh, here we go. I think that's Jeff Geerling guide.docker. Arbitrary role name as it appears. So this is some other ways we can go through. We could specify what we want on that system is by changing the Ansible roles. And so this is one of those things I need to really go dig into. I think I need to go get into Het Tanis's Ansible course so I can understand a little bit more about what's happening on the background. So it'll be a little less auto-magical. So we got this installed right now. This one will probably take quite a bit of time here. So you know, while this is running, what we can do actually is come up here to PowerShell. So one thing I can kind of foresee us doing is on the BlazeBits GitHub, what we might do. Did we not hit the terminal program? Yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and run through our first couple of So one thing we need to do is we got to set our execution policy. So the scope is the current user, and for our execution policy, we're going to do remote signed. So what that'll say is if we create something local, it will be fine, but if it comes from a remote source, it has to be signed. So we'll run that, and then what we'll do is we'll install module. NT object manager for our scope. We're going to do current user. So this is the PowerShell module we're going to be using throughout this kind of exercise. So we'll let this one install real quick. So it's going to go download it from PowerShell Gallery or NuGet, whatever it's called now. And I was testing this on my work laptop, which, like I said, is running. It's one of the new M series chips, and so I was running through this with this stuff in an ARM version of Windows, and so far it seemed to be working okay. So I kind of do want to test them side by side, see if I notice any big differences. But since this is all working on objects, which are all basically .NET based, should be identical. If they've configured .NET correctly for ARM and x86. Import module. So we can import that, and then we can just do a quick test on it by doing new int security descriptor. Yeah. So this is kind of the expected output we'd expect to see if it worked. Perfect. Okay, copy this. Let's see, is there anything else we need to set up for PowerShell? Really. A lot of the next section is just getting familiar with PowerShell. Some of the manipulations to it. We got our kernel executive. Let's see. So the security reference monitor is kind of where I left off. Making a modification. Fix that. Awesome. I think that's probably what we'll pick up on this next time. I think we're kind of at a stopping point for now, because I believe this installer is still running. I'm going to go ahead and let this run overnight. That's probably what we'll call it for this evening, because it is getting on towards midnight here. I need to get my sleep schedule thoroughly unjacked from staying up till 2 in the morning, because I can't get a nap in the middle of the day. I was staying up till like 2 in the morning reading on vacation, and then I'd get up about 7 o'clock or so, and the kids got up, play with them for a while, go to the beach, hang out, and then usually invariably my 2-year-old would go need a nap, and so I'd go get like a 2 or 3 hour nap with him. Bronus, are you streaming right now? Not even on right now. Fronus, if you're gonna stream, if you want to pop on, yeah, we can totally raid you. No pressure though. Let's see. Actually, while this is running, that over. Let me go. Let's see who's on right now. Just us and our little old lonesome selves, usually. We need some more why are all the streaming hackers so responsible with their sleep schedules? It's very, very out of character. Let's see. Anybody doing anything fun in science and tech? Let's see. Space, space, space. Underwater stuff? Flat Earth stuff. Huh. Spam. Console repairs. That actually is kind of cool. What is this guy doing? Games and AI content. I'm curious. I cannot wait for the Deadpool Wolverine movie. So badly want to see that. I haven't wanted to go to see a movie in a long time. Is generating textures. Okay. Interesting. Who's over in software and game development? National Ice Cream Day. Dang it, I missed National Ice Cream Day. I forgot about that. Oh, cool. He's doing the Pirate Jam. Neat. That is Pirate Software's Game Jam, where the people are basically, it's kind of like a hackathon, but for games. Let's see who else I've got up here. Let's see. Soy Milk is on. Actually, yeah, let's go raid Soy Milk. Soy Milk's doing stuff. Doing old console coding. Hardware code. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we'll go right over to Soy Milk. All right, everyone. Have a badass day. Tomorrow's Monday. Fucking crush it. I want you to take Monday, and I want you to hit that bitch so hard, it thinks it owes you money. All right? Don't have a case of the Mondays, have a case of the crushing it's. Get after it. So I hope everyone has a fantastic week coming up. Hit it hard. And that's all I got for you. I'm happy to be back from vacation. Missed all y'all and your crazy comments and shenanigans and questions. So, all right, so I want you to know one more thing. I love you. Peace.